What is up, everybody? It is your boy, the conservative bear, and I'm back. It's been a long time since I've gone live. I've been working my butt off trying to get the studio ready, get the house set up, get everything done. Plus, I'm working a full time job. So it's been one of those days, one of those, times of the life where you got to put priorities ahead of other things. And as of right now, getting the house together so it's safe, livable, and comfortable for the family. Plus, working a full time job and trying to handle my business that way. So, uh, for a little bit there, YouTube had to take a back seat. Plus, getting the new studio finished and ready. At this point, I think it's at a point where I could do lives and make videos. I'm still missing some tile as you could see right there. So that's what's been going on in my life. Just trying to get the studio together, get everything together, get the house safe and comfortable for the family while we continue to do this. But I'm back, and I think as of right now, like I said just a few minutes ago, I think right now the studio is in a place where I can start doing lives. I have the second camera ready to rock and roll. Going to the second camera so I can start shooting videos the way I used to shoot videos, but this time in a lot better format, a lot better stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing, guys. So that's what's been going on. But I want to get into this story. This story is amazing. When they sit there and they say the mother's instinct is one thing, my God, a mother's instinct is phenomenal. And this video I'm going to show you, this mother by far is a hero. She protected her son, and I'll get into it. But I'm going to show this video. This will be one of the few times I show the video, and I think this will be amazing. So check this out. He literally kidnaps this little boy in front of the entire family. He literally just runs up, grabs this little boy, puts him in the car, jumps out. But this mother was like, oh, hell no. Tries to speed away, almost hitting people. And this is him right here. The one in the white is the one that tries to kidnap the young boy. And you can see him in different angles. They're going to show you pictures. There he is. Boom, right there. Trying to kidnap this young boy. And to me, it's amazing on how people, this is in New York, obviously, and it's crazy. It's crazy to see the audacity that some people have and are willing to go the lengths are willing to go to. And this all goes back to not having a police force that can sit there and protect these people. Now here's the story, and it's coming from the Daily Mail. Botched kidnapping at 8 o'clock on Hillside Avenue in Queens on Thursday. Surveillance video shows a man run up to a family walking on the sidewalk, snatch a 5-year-old boy, and place him in the backseat of a car. The boy's mother, Dolores Diaz Lopez, lunges towards the car, pulls her son Jacob through the front passenger window. Police say there's no evidence the mother knew the kidnapper. It's crazy on what's going on in this world. To the point where these criminals feel like they're entitled to do this because there's no police officers. Who's gonna really catch them? You can't get there to stop this kidnapping. You can't even respond at a normal time at a normal interval because you don't have enough police officers to respond. So these people walking around kidnapping this kid, they know that they're going to be able to get away with it. If they would have been able to speed off, they would have never seen this little boy again. Because what police officer is going to be able to go there and grab him and protect him? Yeah, you're going to have the Crime Stoppers. You probably have the surveillance video showing it. But I mean, seriously, in New York, with all those people walking in and around the area, there's a good chance that you would never see this boy again. It's insane. A mother rescued her son in a terrifying incident, pulling him from the kidnapper's car through the window after he was brazenly snatched from a sidewalk in Queens. A complete stranger man was captured on surveillance video, randomly grabbing the 5-year-old Jacob off the street in Richmond Hill neighborhood before the child's mother came to the rescue. She said, "Oh my God, my kids. Oh my God, my boy." Bro, it's getting to the point where we don't even have enough safety to even combat this stuff. With no police officers in the streets patrolling, with not enough police officers to handle calls, and most of them are quitting because defund the police. Are their budgets not even in it? Who's to say there would have been a budget for them to even look for this young boy? Who would have said there was even a budget for them to go after and protect the streets? And it's giving criminals more of an opportunity and feel emboldened to walk through and start doing this crap and get away with it. It's insane. This is why we need more police officers. If you don't think that this could happen to you, you're insane. If you live in a town where the police were defunded, you're insane to even fathom to think that this is not going to stop. It's easily able. If you don't, dude, think about this. If you see a pie on the ledge, and you know you could get away with it, most criminals are going to walk up, steal that pie. And think about it. This young boy in the black market is probably worth a crap ton of money. A crap ton of money. A boatload of money on the black market in human sex trafficking rings. But yet, people want to defund the police. One of the few things that you could honestly say positive about President Trump, no matter how much you can't stand him, and liberals can't stand him, at least he was able to take the fighting sex trafficking rings so these people wouldn't feel emboldened to kidnap a kid in broad daylight in front of the mother. Think about that. In front of the mother. In front of his brothers and sisters. This man walks up, grabs them, and go. To me, it's insanity. In an interview with ABC 7 New York, Diaz-Lopez said she and her children were on their way to visit their father around 8 p.m. Thursday on Hillside in New York City borough, when the man popped out of a parked maroon sedan and ran at them. Surveillance video shows from the scene that shows a man in a white t-shirt, gray shorts, scoop up the 5-year-old boy, place him in the back seat. Jacob initially sits down in the car, but when his older brother approaches, pleading with the suspect to release the boy, Jacob gets up and Diaz-Lopez is able to pull him out. Thank God. That's quick thinking. That's how fast this could happen. That's how fast you could lose your kid. A man's just sitting there, and it looks like, honestly, it looks like it's a geo. This man walks up, grabs this kid, runs into a car, throws him in there. It's like that. And you saw the video, and I'll replay it later. You see it in the video. It just happens. He jumps out of the car. Within 10 seconds, that little boy is in that car. He's in the driver's seat, ready to roll. It happens like that in front of family. This is insanity. The victim's Then the victim's mother is seen in video rushing toward the car, and after a brief struggle, pulls Jacob through the front passenger window. According to the police, the boy was not injured, thank God. The suspect in the botched child abduction and another man are seen in the video fleeing south on Hillside before turning west on Jamaica Avenue. Quick thinking. That's a mother's instinct. He's lucky the father wasn't there, because I'm pretty sure the father would have given them the beat down that they deserve. I'm sure the father would have given them that good love, if you know what I mean. And to sit there and think that this could happen in just the streets in broad daylight in New York and Queens. These criminals are coming out, man. These criminals are out there. These criminals are willing to go to these lengths. It's heartbreaking, but I'm glad that the mother and the brother and the family had the audacity and the gumption and the wherewithal to go up there and grab them and save them. The man who grabbed the boy is described in his 30s with a goatee and arm tattoo. He was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, gray shorts, and dark colored sneakers. The second suspect is a man between 50 and 60 with eyeglasses. He was last seen in an orange t-shirt, blue jeans, black shoes. They were in an older maroon sedan. The chilling incident comes at as check this out. This is the key part of this. Do I have a moderator? Here's the key part to this entire story. Thank you, Roger. Here's the key part to the story. The chilling incident comes as crime rates in New York continue to soar, with gun violence surging and attacks on the city's subway systems and in the streets becoming increasingly common. This is becoming a common thing. This is becoming so common in New York that the article is like, well, I guess this is every day in New York. Well, it's common. Attacks in the subway, attacks on the streets, broad daylight. Don't forget, man, just a couple of weeks ago, there was a man in the a woman walking down the street in Queens, and the man attacked her and tackled her and sexually assaulted her. It's getting that bad in New York. Now, I don't want to make this a political show, but this is what you're voting for, New York. This is what you're voting for. When you vote your politicians in and they're wanting to defund the police, this is literally what you're voting for. The only thing that stops crime is deterrence. And the deterrence in this are police officers. When you have somebody patrolling your neighborhood, crime is less likely to happen. Now, granted, everybody's going to sit there and say, well, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Bro, all lives matter, but yet this is the crap that you're wanting to happen in your streets by voting these politicians in. We need more police officers. We need more people on the streets willing to work these streets and protect the citizens. That's what makes this even more important, to have politicians who actually give a damn and want to do that. It's time that New Yorkers wake up and see what's going on in their own boroughs and in their own cities. When you're seeing women sexually assaulted on the streets in broad daylight, when you're sitting there watching a kid at 5 years old getting kidnapped in broad daylight, you got a problem. Plain and simple, you have a problem that needs to be resolved. And the only way to resolve a lot of these issues is to vote in people who actually give a damn about your community. That's what's important. These people's lives matter. When you're sitting there watching this stuff go down and these politicians don't do a damn thing about it, except for, we're going to write more gun legislature. Don't you think that's a wake-up call? What about getting police on the streets willing to work the streets and find that and stop this shit from going on? What if this was your kid? What if you were walking down the street in New York and you're walking down the street and somebody pops out and takes your kids? Now, what's more important to you, your kids or gun control? That to me is important. Protecting citizens are important. Thank you, Mickey. It's insane. It's insane what these states are doing and these communities are doing, not giving a damn about their citizens, not giving a damn about protecting their people. To me, it's crazy. To me, it's insanity to think that this is going on in our own backyards, that this is going on in communities. And the most that they could get out of it is a picture on Crime Stoppers. It's crazy. It's time to wake up. It's time to actually vet politicians, and I don't care whether Democrat or Republican. Vet do your research on these. Vet them, check them out, see what they stand for. If they're for defunding the police, well, God damn it, don't vote for them. Because you're the ones that are being harmed by it. They're not. They're going to be walking around with their security. They're going to be walking around and living in their private gated communities. They're going to be walking around living the dream, not giving a damn about you while you're living in the streets and your kids are getting kidnapped off the streets. This could happen to any place in America. This could happen in any community in America where they're defunding the police, because who wants to live in a community where you're likely to have your kid kidnapped because there's not a fucking cop around to be a deterrent? It's time to wake up and see what's going on in our communities. It's time to wake up and see what's going on. It's time to wake up and start looking at your politicians and holding them accountable, because it's your communities that are being destroyed. It's your communities that are losing value because there's nobody to protect them. That's where it's affecting you. Now, the next story I'm going to bring up is going to be about everybody's favorite Beetlejuice. The next story I'm going to go and ties into this lack of police officers. This next story is insane. Who really wants to live in a place where we're actually looking at sending in mental health professionals? Will be in New York or in Chicago. We're looking at having mental health professionals being responded to 911 calls instead of cops. Gang members now outnumber police officers 10-1. 10-1. When you have the gangs on the streets outnumbering your police officers, dude, if I'm a cop, I'm like, I'm out. I'm retiring. Nope. This is what you have in Chicago, where you have the highest gun rates, gun shootings, gun fatalities, shootings in the country. Now you've got Mayor Lightfoot being like, you know what? We're going to send mental health professionals out. Why that doesn't even make any sense to me. I could see if you were going to send out if you were going to send out a mental health professional along with a police officer, so that the victim of domestic abuse or whatever has somebody there that they could talk to about being protected. I get that. You know what? Add them on the payroll. But if you're not going to send a police officer, what's going to stop somebody as big as Hulk Hogan from knocking out the mental health professional and beating up the wife even further, and probably going to kill the wife because she called 911? Seriously, do people not think about what they're going to put into action? Do people not sit there and be like, you know what, maybe this is not a good idea? You walk into somebody, you see a man walking in, beating up his wife. We're not calling the police. We're not sending a police officer. We're going to send a mental health professional. Now that makes sense. No, it doesn't. Doesn't make any sense at all. The city is launching a 2-part alternative response pilot program this fall that will take a more public health approach to responding to mental health calls or 911. A mental health professional and a paramedic will be dispatched to mental health related calls instead of police officers. Now let's think about this, okay? Mental health professional to somebody having a mental health breakdown. Sounds right. But let me tell you something. Somebody having a mental health breakdown and is at the end of their wits, you're not going to stop them by talking them down. Now, it sounds reasonable, but who's going to protect them when this person loses it? Who's going to protect the mental health professional and the paramedic? Now, I understand 2-on-1, but let's say that this person has a gun. Let's say this person has a knife, a machete, or even some rope. Okay. Now, we all know that the Vegas shooter had a mental breakdown, that was mentally unstable. Can you really see a paramedic, or can you really see a mental health expert stopping this man from doing what he did? No. He would turn around, he would fire at the back door, killing the paramedic, killing the mental health expert, and then turn around and still continue to do what he did. That's why we have police officers that are armed so they can stop this crap from going on. Even at which you have somebody, even with their bare fists, that have just lost it, that is completely gone mentally, they could do some serious damage to the little old lady and the paramedic walking in and beating the hell out of them. And now they're calling 911. They're defunding the police. So it's going to take them at least another 3 hours to show up. And by that time, who knows what's happened to the paramedic and this little old lady, this mental health expert. And that's right, Mickey. And who was to determine what is the mental health? Now, anything could be mental health. I mean, a suicide attempt is mental health. But again, that could go backwards too. If I'm going to choose to end my life, you send somebody out to me, a mental health and a paramedic, and I'm going to do it with a gun. There's a good opportunity. I could turn around and put the gun, couple of bullets into those people and then still take myself out. Now, guess what? It's a mass shooting. Or let's say I'm going to hang myself. Now you're coming in and interrupting me on doing something that I want to do. There's a good chance that I'm going to, like I said, beat the brakes off of you and still hang myself. And guess what? Now I'm even a worse person. Now my name is even more slandered. There has to be some common sense to these. That the initiatives aim to both ensure people suffering a mental health crisis get the help they need rather than jailed, and free up police time for tackling crime. Well, guess what? Hire more police officers. This is crazy. Chicago is so crazy. Look what Nana used to be a dispatcher. She says, dispatchers will be making that determination. That is a decision I would not want to make. Who would, dude, think about this. You send the wrong person. Let's say somebody is having a mental health crisis. And I'm giving, mental health could be anything. And just like Bree said, they're all mental health. Don't you know someone's dad never came back from getting milk, left them emotionally scarred so they can do whatever they want? Dude, there's so many aspects into what mental health was. If you want to send somebody, dude, I still say you have to send a police officer. No matter what these you send these people in there, they don't know what they're walking into. Can you imagine that? You're hired as a mental health professional. You don't know what you're walking into. You could be walking into an ambush. You could be walking into BTK. You could be walking into something and you're going in blind. All you have is what the dispatcher told you. You're dispatched out. You have no protection, maybe some mace, and you're walking into somebody as big as me. You don't know what you're walking into. You have no idea. A lot of these cops are killed on traffic stops because they don't know what they're walking into when you walk into a car. You're going to send a mental health expert with maybe some mace into the unknown? Good luck trying to hire that person with the master's degree. Good luck. You're going to have to pay them out the ass because there is no way you're going to get a good mental health expert wanting to take that call. I guarantee you they probably had this out. I bet you those job postings ain't getting nothing. Because who would want to walk into that? Who would want to walk into that? Who would want to make, what dispatcher is going to want to make that call? Can you imagine that? I don't know what the legalities would be, Nana, for this, but can you imagine being that person that sends the mental health lady into that ambush, and now her life is extinguished because you sent a mental health expert into the lion's den, a feeding frenzy? Like I said, I would be okay with, sending a police officer, a mental health expert into that, because at least you got a cop with the sidearm and taser. They're ready to roll. They're ready to rock and roll and protect this lady from going in. You want to send a police officer with them? Send a police officer. The city is launching a 2-part. Mental health professionals will be sent out to respond to some 911 calls in Chicago instead of cops following the defund the police protests. A number of police killings of mentally unwell people. The city is launching a 2-part alternative response pilot program this fall. The initiative aims to both ensure people suffering from mental health crises get the help they need rather than face criminalization, and free up police for tackling crime amid a mass exodus to cops in the forest. I wonder why they're Beetlejuice while they're walking out. Check this out. A total of 363 police officers retired from the Chicago Police Department between January and June of this year, with another 56 on track to quit in July, according to figures from the Police Pension Board. That is over 400 police officers saying, F this. F this. With only around 13,000 cops remaining. Fox News reported that Chicago's 117,000 gang members now outnumber police officers 10-1. 10-1. At a time when the Windy City is facing a surge in violent crime, with more than 100 people were shot and at least 17 killed on July 4th. Chicago's new alternative response programs will involve dispatching a team that includes a mental health professional and a paramedic to a mental health related calls. One program will involve sending a paramedic and a mental health clinician for behavioral health calls. A second program will involve sending a paramedic with a recovery specialist for calls relating to substance abuse. It's not fully clear how 911 dispatchers will determine which calls will be responded to by police officers or by mental health. However, the city mental health professionals will be stationed inside the 911 call centers to help monitor situations, and from October will be responding to some 911 calls. So what you're going to end up having is you're going to have mental health professionals sitting at the 911 dispatch desk. The call is going to come in. From what this sounds like, the 911 call is going to come in. The person to say, "Help! I need help." Now, I'm guessing the mental health professional is going to be listening in on a headset, similar to what the 911 dispatchers are wearing, and the mental health specialist will probably talk to them on the phone. Then they're going to be like, "Well, guess what? I guess this person needs me." Now, when that mental health professional walks out there with the paramedic, man, I can tell you right now, I don't know. Here's my problem with this. And I'm going to use a movie reference here. Okay, guys? Who remember Smash a 1 if you remember the movie Patch Adams? If you remember Patch Adams, smash a 1. Because I'm going to tell you something. Do you remember when Patch Adams in the movie, and I don't know if it's a true story. I don't know if that part was a true story or not. But do you remember when his girlfriend took that call and the guy was having a mental health breakdown? During the mental health breakdown, Patch Adams' girlfriend decides, okay, I'm going to walk over and try to help him. And this is somebody that she's seen at the Gesundheit Institute a few times. Now, when she walks in there, and this is Patch Adams is based on a true story, but I know there's some unfactual events in there. Now, remember, Patch Adams' girlfriend goes and knocks on the door. The guy invites her in, and they're talking. And the next thing you know, Patch Adams' girlfriend was brutally murdered by the mental health patient that she went to go talk down. Now, these people were being trained to be doctors. What is the opportunity? You get somebody like the BTK killer, calls 911, asks for a mental health expert, and they're talking him in. The mental health expert's like, okay, I guess I'm going to take this and I'm going to go out and check this out. So they send the paramedic out with them. What's to stop that from happening to the mental health expert and the paramedic? You don't know what is actually going on in somebody's head. You never know what's going on in somebody's head. You could assume to know what's going on in somebody's head. You could know somebody for 500 years and not know what's going inside their head. Those are things that you're walking into, especially with the unknown. Mayor Lightfoot is being ridiculous here. If there's a city council in Chicago, they need to put a stop to this. They're putting people's lives at risk because you don't know what you're walking into. People, human beings are quick to trigger. Human beings are reactive, and anything can happen. That's what people are not realizing when they're passing these laws. They must not even be thinking ahead. A drug addict who's high, wanting their fix could snap. I've seen it. I've seen a drug addict wanting their fix snap. And guess what? All hell broke loose. It's insane. It's insane what you're going to have these poor people walking into. Our team will be dedicated to calls in the north side and the other in the south side of the city, serving Uptown, North Center, Lakeview, Humboldt, West, East, Garfield Park, West Inglewood, West Allison, Chicago Lawn, West Lawn, Gates Park, Auburn, Gresham, and Chatham neighborhoods. Alex Heaton, Lightfoot's policy advisor for the public safety, told the Sun-Times the city hopes the public health approach to the mental health calls will ensure residents get the help they need. Sometimes a person needs to just be put in jail. Sometimes, like I said, if you wanted to send these people out with a police officer to protect them, yeah, I'm all for that. But you're going to send them into something that they have no idea what they're walking into. And they're not trained to walk in, knock on a door. They're not trained for that. They don't know how to de-escalate a situation with somebody batshit crazy. This is, I think, and I could be wrong, this is going to get ugly. This is going to be horrible. The only options now are the ER or lockup. But in this pilot, they'll bring you to the center, help stabilize you, and connect you with fellow resources. The new initiatives are part of Lightfoot's $3.5 million crisis assistance response and engage plan unveiled last month. The plan also includes 3 new 24/7 drop-off centers across the city for people struggling with mental health issues. I like that. 24/7 drop-off centers across the city for people struggling with mental health. I like that. Some people at all times of the day and night have mental health crisis. They could go to this place, take a cab. They're having a mental health crisis. Go there. Yeah, I like that. But sending somebody into somebody else's home, I don't think so. The city's new approach to mental health calls come in the wake of 2 high-profile police killings of teens who were suffering from mental health episodes. Laquan McDonald, the 17-year-old black teen, was shot and killed by Chicago PD. Jason Van Dyke in 2014 in the west side of the city. Police footage of the incident showed cops shooting McDonald 16 times as he appeared to walk away from the officer while carrying a knife. Don't carry knives. If police tell you to drop the knife, put the knife down. Boom. You would have got killed. That doesn't mean you have McDonald had a learning disability and complex mental health diagnosis, having been hospitalized 3 times for psychiatric issues, arrested 26 times before his death. You know, I think that is a terrible excuse. I don't care. A lot of people, every like my son has autism. And he knows right from wrong. You know that if you put down the police tell you to do something, you do it. I told my son this. The police tell you to do something, you do it. No ifs, ands, buts about it. It's not that hard. 4 years on from the killing, Van Dyke was found guilty of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery. Over the shooting, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. 1 year after McDonald's murder, 19-year-old student Quintonio Legrier was shot and killed by cops the day after Christmas in 2015. Legrier was carrying a bat when officers responded to his father's home. Dude, how do the police officers know what you're going to do? How do the police officers do it? How do we know that Legrier wasn't swinging a baseball bat at the police officer? How do we know that that Legrier wasn't going to hit his father with a bat? Kind of like the girl trying to stab the lady in the car. And it's funny. Here's the funny thing, guys. And Blexit, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this. If you were so worried about these two cases, why did it take you 7 years and 6 years to implement this? Why did it take you almost a decade to come out with this? That's how ridiculous this is. Oh, we're going to do this because of what happened back in 2015, 2014. 7 years later. Dude, you want to talk about reactive? That's reactive to the umpteenth power. That is so reactive, it's ridiculous. You want to start a program 6 years after the recent incident. How stupid are you? At least give me something from 2019. At least give me something from 2020. I would even take 2019. But you want to go all the way back to when I was in my 20s and come up with something? Are you kidding me? 7 years later, you want to come up with something and use them as a policy, reason to have a policy. 7 years later, 6 years later, are you kidding me? Talk about freaking reactive. Holy shit, Private. Chicago Police Department officer Robert Riamo opened fire, shooting Legrier 6 times, killing him, and also killing the teen's neighbor who had been caught by a stray bullet. Legrier, who was an engineering student at Northern Illinois University, had started showing signs of poor mental health and had been admitted involuntarily to a hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. The morning he was killed, he had called 911 3 times in a mental health distress, claiming someone was threatening his life. One 911 dispatcher hung up the call on the teen, which is wrong. Legrier's father then called 911 to report his son trying to break down his door with a baseball bat. Why do you think the police officers killed him? The dad called 911 and said, this dude is trying to kill me with a baseball bat. Cops are already heightened at that point. They got to protect the father. He's the victim in this, not the kid. The kid was trying to kill the father with the baseball bat. In 2019, Chicago cops reported to 41,000 mental health calls, according to Superintendent David Brown, as well as meaning people are not getting the help they need. They also divert police away from tackling crime in the city at the time when shootings are surging and the cops are quitting. Why do you think cops are quitting? Lightfoot, why do you think your cops are quitting? Why do you think your cops are outnumbered 10-1? I wonder why. Maybe because you're ridiculous. Your policies are ridiculous. Nobody wants to work for you, my Lightfoot. They do something. They make a decision on the spot, and you're going to charge them with the crime. That's why your police officers are quitting. That's why you've lost that many officers in 6 months. It's because nobody wants to work for you. They make a decision, they're going to end up in prison. Most police officers in Republican cities are not quitting. They're all from liberal towns because anytime that something happens, you're going to freaking prosecute them. You could catch a man, you could catch a black man ready to beat the crap and kill somebody. The cop shoots him. The cop's going to jail. The city's going to settle, and the criminal is going to be a hero. Call me a liar. Call me a liar. "11 children, some as young as 5 and 6, were wounded in what was the most violent weekend of the year. July 4th marked a particularly bloody weekend for the city with at least 100 people shot, 17 fatally between July 2nd and July 4th. Criminal sexual assault has also surged 23% in the same time frame, while murders dipped 1% in overall crime." Okay, so now they're raping people instead of murdering them. I would rather be murdered than raped. But this is the stuff that you're seeing more and more of. This is the insanity that is going on in this country and in these cities. Insanity. It's insane on what's going on. It's insane that people are willing, or that these mayors in these cities are willing to give up their police officers and start backing criminals. What are we supposed to expect out of this? What do you want your cities to do? Your crime is surging. Sexual assaults are going on in daylight in freaking New York. Then you got police willing to are quitting in remarkable speeds that police, you're not going to be able to hire a police officer to save your life in Chicago because nobody's going to want to work there. Your towns suck. Your community sucks. Your prices in housing probably are in the toilet. Probably can't give away a house in Chicago. It's sad. And the sad thing about it is more and more people are going to continue to vote Democrat and continue to vote for these people, knowing that they're insane because it's what they were taught to do. They want the freebies. They want the handouts, all of them. I don't care. Black, white, Latino, anybody that's sitting there voting Democrats, all they want is freebies. That's all. Do you want more freebies? More freebies, more freebies. We're giving you everything. You're selling your soul for freebies. You're selling your community down the drain for a couple $100 for some food stamps. When you could get off your ass, get a job, work, and you'll have more money than the food stamps and the freaking handout is going to be for you. That's what they want to do to people. They want to keep them begging for more money so they can keep them under the Democratic rule. More freebies, the more I'm going to stay out. That's the sad part. Who wants to risk their life working in Chicago? Who wants to sit there and take these 911 calls in Chicago? You're going to have dispatcher. I guarantee you I could see this happening. Nana, and if you're still in the chat, I hope you'll put some light on this. I can see this happening in Chicago. A 911 dispatcher sends out a mental health professional, right? The mental health professional gets killed or hurt or maimed or wounded. Guess who they're going to pin that on? Guess who's going to get sued? Guess who's going to lose their job? Guess who has to live with that decision for the rest of their life? The 911 dispatcher. That's called setting somebody up for failure. The dispatcher is going to be held responsible for sending out a mental health worker when she should have sent out the police officer. Who's going to want to take that call? Who's going to want to respond to that? And guess what? Then mental health professionals are going to start retiring and quitting on the PD. Now you're not going to have them either. And your police officers are going to be nil because nobody wants to work for you. And good luck finding the mental health professionals now. Do something. Get these people out of office. You continue to vote these people into office. For some reason, you need to start getting your head out of your 4 point of contact and get them out of office, because this is what you keep voting in. You play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. And here's your stupid prizes. You got no police on the streets in Chicago and New York. Now you're going to send mental health workers into a situation that they don't want to be in. And for what? To save a couple $100? Black Lives Matter? Chicago, you need to wake up. New York, you need to wake up. Your women are being raped in broad freaking daylight. You're getting kids kidnapped in broad daylight. This is what you voted for. This is what you want. I am so sick and tired of sitting there listening to people say, well, I want a free handout. Oh, when's my next stimulus coming? Oh, we need more money. But not a single person is giving a care about anything. You're literally selling your soul for a stimulus. It's ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. And I love how now, and this was not a topic I was going to talk about, but I also love how now Black Lives Matter organization is now blaming the United States for Cuba's problems. Yeah, that's going on now. Yeah. Let's continue to blame America for another country's problems. Fidel Castro took that country over and has run it to shit, especially after the fall of the Soviet Union. After the Soviet Union collapsed, Castro was screwed. He's the reason that's going on. And they're sitting there saying, it's COVID. It's COVID. It's not COVID. Cuba's sick and tired. The Cubans are sick and tired of living under a Marxist community. They can't even afford gas. The grocery stores are empty. And you want to sit there and blame America for this? Like we put that crap going on in Cuba? No, hell no, we didn't do that. Castro took over. Your grandparents and parents allowed it to happen. That's what's going on there. Now the young people are fighting back because they want to be like America. Why? I don't know why, because right now this is how ass backwards this is. We want to be more like Cuba and Cuba wants to be more like us. How ass backwards is that? Think about that for a second. I want you to think about that for a second. We want to be more like Cuba, and Cuba wants to be like what we were, a free society. It's insane. And you're right, Roger. If BLM Antifa, if you want to be in a Marxist community, I will go start a GoFundMe to send your asses off to Cuba. I guarantee you a lot of the conservatives and all the pro-American people, even on the left, will pay to send your asses there. Because if you don't like what we have here, if you don't enjoy the American policies that we have, the freedoms that we have, go there. Go burn a Cuban flag in Cuba. Seriously, Black Lives Matter. Send one of the founders down there. Have her go burn a freaking flag down in Cuba and see what happens. Good luck. We will never see your face again. Like the way you sit there and you burn my country's flag, you sit there and you defecate on my flag. Go do that in Cuba. You ain't gonna survive that. And they're starting to fight back, and people are dying because they want to be free. They want to live the liberties that we have here. They're still driving cars from the 1950s. Well, I would like to go down there and buy a car from the Cubans because those cars are badass. But I digress. That's what you're wanting. If that's what you want, go down there. Go live there. Go fight against the people that live there that are wanting to be free. You want a Marxist community? Go fight them. Go fight the freedom fighters down there, because you'll lose. Because you know what? The people down there are sick and tired of starving. The people in America are starving. The people in Cuba are starving. The people in Cuba don't have the right medicine. People are dying there. They're waiting 6 to 8 months to get help and dying. And you want that here? You know what? I'd rather have a job and pay my premiums. If you're on Medicaid, you have it better than what they have it in Cuba. People are sitting there. These people really want to get rid of the United States as we know it. If you want to be a freedom fighter, go down to Cuba, see what happens, because we don't need that nonsense here. What we need here are people willing to defend the Constitution. What we need here is people willing to defend this country. No more Marxism. No more communism. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. I don't care if you call it socialist communism, democratic communism, democratic Marxism. You can shove all those terms up your ass, because we don't need them here. We want it. We want to keep America great. People are dying to get here. Why can't people see that? People are literally dying to be here, willing to sacrifice their life, swim across the river, come on a boat. I think powder kegs people were floating and trying to get here, dying. We are the last great democracy in this country, and if we fall, this world is screwed. So keep your communist asses out of my country. We need to go back to the 1950s, because at least they didn't want no communism here. Do you remember the Red Scare? People were testing or were hiding in bomb shelters because they were worried about it. And now we have people sitting here in this country saying, oh, yes, we need more communism, less freedoms. You can shove that. Our grandparents were right, man. They were sitting there, F that. Like Miss Lady said, they're taking 14 to 19 children to join the military. They're stealing the people's children to join the military. They're so desperate for a military that they're kidnapping people. And we want that here. Good luck with that. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to wrap this live up. I want to thank you all for choosing the TCB show. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we see you guys again. Now that the studio is coming together and looking a lot better, you'll be seeing me live a lot more. And I'll be setting up the camera to do actual filming of videos. So thank you all. I love each and every one of you guys. Hope you have a good day. God bless. And as always, deuces.